Okay, I just wanted to let you know that I made a little sample piece. And so, I wanted to, it's just like a sample piece of what it's supposed to look like. So, my upholstery work. This is my, this piece here, I didn't want to use too much of my piping, but that's one piece of piping that's in there. And the rest doesn't have any piping in it. This doesn't have any piping. Only thing is, you're supposed to cut this with what you call on the bias, and that means you cut it diagonal, because you try to stretch it this way and it won't stretch. But if you try to stretch it diagonal ways, you can't see it. You stretch it diagonal ways, it'll stretch a lot more. You try to stretch it straight, it won't stretch. So usually cut this what you call a bias cut, which is cut it diagonally. And I'm talking about the strip here. This is a strip. It's just a strip of a certain width. And you just take it, put your pipe cording in here, fold it over, and then I fixed it so you stitch it 1/2 of an inch from the edge, and then if you open this up, you see the inside. What I've done is you just have, the outsides facing each other with a pipe cording in the middle of it, and you sew all 3 layers together. I had to work with my sewing machine to be able to adjust it. This is my fabric. This is upholstery grade fabric. So, and I got an extra bobbin. This is the bobbin here. It goes in the bottom of the sewing machine for the bottom stitch feeding, and I took an empty spool and was filling that up with the fabric so I can thread so I can put it on the machine. And I just got some scraps to practice with so I can get this, get it right before I actually start cutting it. So that's my practice piece, and I can do a little better. That's what it's going to look like. So, and I've just been doing some touch-up work in the camper of painting some touch-up paint in the camper that I missed, and I'm going to try to get some wood to make like a hardwood floor in the step when you first walk in the campers, and do a little work on my generator box. And again, I had a big roll of fabric. I had my big roll of fabric, and that's my leftover fabric. Again, I've traced out. I've got 2 of these for each of my panels here. This is the reupholstering the seats in the truck camper. Okay, let's see, and I made it a 1/2 inch. My 1/2 inch seam allowance. That's on the outside of the seam, and this is where the seam's going to be. So I cut all this out, laid it on the floor, made it straight. But if I cut the cord fabric, I'm going to have to cut it diagonal because it'll stretch. If I can do it here, I will. You see when it's on the diagonal, see how it stretches? And you're on the diagonal. Now you cut it straight. You pull it straight and you try to stretch it, it won't move. That's because it'll stretch easier when it's on the diagonal. So this is my upholstery. Here, hold on just a minute. Okay, here's what it's going to look like. There's my fabric. I like my choice of fabric, so just wanted to show you also along the bottom. I made that trim around the bottom there, and I repaired this to look a little better, so it looks more like that, so it looks a little better than it did. Also, I've got some Proflex sealant. I'm going to seal around the bottom of this to make it watertight when I take a shower, and around the edges of there. I took the inside of my homemade cabinet door and painted it in light blue to match my countertop, and I had that left over. So there's that, and there's my fabric. So I think it looks good, and with the piping and the cording, it's going to look nice. Give it a traditional look to it. So, and for right now, I'm going to have carpet in here up on the main level, and then here, I'm going to get a piece of wood to put here and make this to come out and stay here, so it'll all look nice. I'm going to put a wood border around here, paneling on top of here, and on top of here. And then I'm going to take some paneling and cut it into strips and make it like hardwood flooring just in the entryway for right now. Maybe a light, dark, light, dark, light, dark, light, dark. So right now, that's what I've got going. Just a touch up, and I'm going to get some more of this paint out and just touch it up around the edges. So, and I can store a lot of canned foods in here instead of that tape layer, and put a ledge, a lip or something along here so the canned food won't fall out when you're moving. So I think that'll really be an advantage. So, yeah. Also, want to show you one more thing. Okay, I didn't have a rear view mirror in this truck. I went on here real cheap and got myself a rear view mirror, a really cheap rear view mirror. Installed it, took this dash off to clean this, and I got my stereo here out of my little Oldsmobile. So I'm going to put this dash back on and clean the glass. It's so disgusting in here. I'm just cleaning it. So I'm just going to install my stereo, put my stereo in. Make this truck look a little more presentable. I know it doesn't look good, but it's better than it was. I'm going to get some, like this kind of trim. I'm going to put some of this kind of trim around the edge of this door and this door here and make it look a little more presentable. And maybe even do this into a door like this, just to make it presentable. I've got some more of that stuff. So that's pretty much what I've got going on with the truck camper. And so, yeah, just want to clean a little bit. And this will be like a hardwood entry area that'll look really nice, you know. And here's my fabric, of course. And then I'm going to sand down some of these bad spots and clean it and sand it a little of these bad spots. There were screws in here. I screwed this up before. And I just took the screws out, ugly screws out I had put in before, and I filled it in with wood filler. I used some wood filler on this. It's still not perfect, but there's screws in there, and so it's a little bumpy looking, but I like it. It looks presentable, I think. Maybe someday I will fix it right and get a little Bondo and put on that. Either that or get rid of it all and send it down to the wood. Either way, I can still do that. So that's my update for right now, and I think this entryway with that the 30-year-old carpet appeared a tan color, but I want to show you. Ooh, garbage. Dumpster dive. Okay. You see, this looks tan, but you see, originally in 1988, I have the mauve. The seats are a mauve color, or the seats in the camper were a mauve color. It's faded into tan, but it was really like a light pink or something like that. This was on the entryway, this carpet, so you can see where it's faded from the original light pink or whatever, sand pink color. So I just wanted you to see that. And so I've pretty much got the outside done. I'm satisfied. I just type these little things here and there and get a can of Bondo and finish these fenders and get a can of the gold paint that goes with this truck. Originally factory gold paint, just to spray touch it up, you know, because you have to understand the Trailblazer, my Trailblazer. I was in a little accident with the Trailblazer a couple of years ago, and it dented this, smashed this all the way in. I just straightened it as much as it could be straightened, because I have a picture where it's mashed into here and this was coming down and then back up again, so I straightened it out as much as possible and got some, you know, Bondo, a lot of Bondo in there to straighten that. Create almost a straight image, and I got some spray paint that's a blue that goes with this. It's the original factory blue color that goes with the Trailblazer, so make it look presentable. So there's my rig. Here's my 85 Oldsmobile. This is an Olds 98. And I was the second owner on this car, and then I sold it in 2013, and it was gone for 3 or 4 years, and I went through a bunch of owners, and I got it back again. That's where I took the stereo out, but it's nice interior, nice clean seats, nice no rips in the seats, and I love driving it. It's a fun car to drive. But yeah, got a nice little seating area back there. So I'll let you all go. Got my little porch back there. Okay, see you all later. And there's my fabric update of my upholstering the truck camper seats.